Hey everybody, that's from the streets. Hope everybody day is going well. It's very nice out here in Washington D.C. on this Saturday, Sabbath day. The topic of the day will be, why do the police shoot to kill? And the conclusion that I have come to is that is how they are being trained. They don't shoot to injure or stop the person. They shoot to kill or murder a potential lawbreaker. And this is never going to stop until these police officers be retrained. They have this mentality of aggression since the transitioning of the slaves being emancipated. So a lot of this aggression has taken place in poverty, areas stricken by poverty, in black communities, Hispanic communities. And the police have the right to murder you. You know, I've brought this subject up because I've been just going through the YouTubes and seeing different things, and so many people are getting murdered by the police. The police supposed to protect and serve the community on one hand, but on the other hand, they are trained to murder you. They don't try to shoot you in your arm or your leg or anything to injure you, to stop you. They try to shoot you in your heart and in your head. They are murderers. The police, they have tactics of assassins. They come into these communities and they assassinate people. They have the judge, the jury, and they convict you on the spot in a lot of these cases that I have seen. Moving forward, why do people of color and people in particular types of communities do not like the police, especially the so-called black man? Why? Because the police is a rendition or a spinoff of the slave catcher. Let me say that again. The police is the spinoff of the slave catcher. The police is the modern day slave catcher. Yet they have some other responsibilities besides rounding up the slaves. You know, they got the laws and the Constitution and all that round up in their objectives and their responsibilities. Yet again, the police is the modern day slave catcher. Let that sink in your head, and then people that are not of African descent or haven't been not have the DNA of the former slaves. Just let that sink into your mind. These people that come to our houses and to our communities are a representation of the slave catchers going out to round up slaves for the slave master. The slave master has always been a form of authority, a form of wealth. Poor so-called whites or Europeans didn't have slaves because they couldn't afford them. They couldn't afford them. It is the wealthy, the Bill Gates of the day, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Trumps, people with wealth and this narcissistic white supremacy ideology are the slave masters. And not saying that everybody that had slaves were, had this type of mentality, but I'm speaking on the nasty ones, the ones that raped, beat, murdered their slaves because they were their property. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a touchy topic, and it could become emotional. So I'm going to round this video up This is another message from the streets. People, read books. Seek out information. This is the information stage. You should not be lacking in knowledge of what's going on. People, teach your kids truth and wake them up from the lies of the Matrix. Or just wake them up, period, because they're asleep and they're being indoctrinated with enchanted lies of a forged history agreed upon as spoken by Napoleon Bonaparte. History is a lie agreed upon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a point of view, a message from the street. Self-improvement is a way of life. Also, mental elevation is a way of life. I bring you this information in love, and I leave you in peace. Peace.